Have you ever stopped to think how far you yourself can go, even with all the confusion around you? There was a time when you didn't understand why people around you acted in certain ways, said certain things, and made you feel so lost. These situations left you confused, trying to understand what these people really wanted. You were stuck in a cycle that God hadn't planned for you. But now, things have changed. People who once knew you well now can't understand who you've become. Before, they were used to you always trying to understand everything about them. But you've changed. You've realized that you don't have to chase anymore. This change has meant that they can no longer understand your true intentions. This change is like that of a river that passes through difficult places, but eventually finds its way clean and clear to the sea. You've also found your true purpose, away from the messes that used to get in your way. Everything has its time, and there is a time for every purpose under heaven. This verse speaks volumes about your new phase. What was once confusing is now part of a bigger plan. A path that is protected and guided not by what others see, but by the peace that comes from following your heart. This is God's true protection, not a shield against others, but a peace that protects you from the storms inside and outside of you. Now, even with the unknown and the challenges, you remain calm and secure. And while the people who thought they knew you well are still confused by your changes, you move on, knowing you're on the right track. Let's all, at our own pace, face the challenges that shape our destiny, always strong, always moving forward. We are here to move forward, together. Psalm 91 is a powerful source of comfort for those who put their total trust in God. This psalm reveals that God is a refuge and a fortress, a present help in tribulations. It promises that those who take shelter under the shadow of the Almighty will be safe from the dangers and fears of the night. This psalm assures that even in the midst of great challenges, such as illness or natural calamities, those who remain faithful to God will be preserved. Divine protection is described as a shield and a rampart, symbolizing total security against adversity. Among the biblical examples of divine protection, we have Moses, who was guided and guarded by God through the desert, and Elijah, who was sustained by ravens during a great drought. Even Paul, in his numerous journeys and missions, experienced God's protective hand, guaranteeing his safety from physical and spiritual dangers. Psalm 91 also reminds us that although we may face tribulations, God gives us the strength to endure them. He doesn't promise a life without difficulties, but He does guarantee that we will be safe under His watch. The story of Peter, for example, shows that even when we face the consequences of our actions or the evil of the world, God is by our side to rescue us when we cry out to Him. Throughout the ages, God has used angels to protect, miraculous provisions to save, and His word to guide. God's protection involves not only physical safety, but also spiritual, strengthening our faith and offering inner peace. For you, chosen and sealed for the final glory, remember that no matter the challenges of this world, your eternal safety is assured. Like a tree planted by the streams of water, you are rooted in fertile soil, unafraid of heat or drought, confident that God will fulfill His purpose in your life. They can't understand whether you're doing well or badly. The people around you can't perceive your emotional state. You could be angry, but still show love and happiness. You should be despondent, acting with a negative attitude, hurting others because that's how you feel. But you don't act like that. They are confused because, despite everything, you continue to show love, light, peace, and joy. Many have gotten so used to these games that they now think you're playing them too. But the truth is that you're healed and continue to heal, so it doesn't affect you anymore. For you, showing love and peace even in difficult times is a true sign of spiritual strength. You, one of the chosen ones, go beyond conventional emotional reactions. In situations where many would give in to anger or despair, you choose compassion and love. This confuses those around you who are used to a world where emotions are predictable. They expect you to react negatively, reflecting the difficulties you face. However, your ability to remain calm and show joy is not a game or a facade. It is the fruit of a heart that has been healed and continues to heal. You have overcome the emotional games that trap many, living in a state of grace that confuses those still stuck in the old dynamics. In this lack of understanding lies your true strength, the ability to be a shining light in a world that often opts for darkness. Your presence questions established norms, because you not only survive the storms, you thrive in them, radiating an energy that is both peaceful and powerful. This is the true power of the chosen ones, the ability to transform suffering into wisdom, pain into compassion, and confusion into clarity for those around you. You have become an enigma to those who live anchored to negative emotions as their only form of expression. They try to label your serenity as indifference or your joy as ignorance, unable to understand that your light comes from a much deeper source, a place of divine connection and spiritual understanding. In the midst of chaos, you remain a bastion of hope and a living testimony that it is possible to live beyond cycles of emotional reactivity. Your path is a constant reminder that true emotional and spiritual freedom is possible. Like Ruth, who, despite being a widow in a foreign land, chose a path of loyalty and love, resulting in a new life full of blessings and purpose. You are not just healed, you are healing in action, a beacon of transformation that guides others to follow the same path of liberation and light. You have transformed negativity into something positive, making your life an example of how it is possible to turn pain into purpose. They tried to diminish you, treating you like an outcast. They tried to make you feel that you would never amount to anything or do anything with your life. They watched you from afar, unable to understand how you managed to do it. They expected you to appear negative, with a destructive energy. But you are walking in the light. You have awakened, and you are healing. Like Jonah, who after trying to flee his calling, found transformation inside the belly of a great fish and emerged to fulfill his destiny with renewed courage. Heartbreak, disappointment, and manipulation left their mark. However, you have learned the necessary lessons, surrendered to transformation, and are now following the path that God is illuminating for you. This path may seem incomprehensible to others because it is guided not by human logic, but by the Spirit. Your every step is ordered and protected, shielded from the invasions of yesteryear. Your energy is now inaccessible to the manipulation of others. This is what makes your journey of healing and surrender so powerful and irrevocable. Once restored to your strength, you discover that nothing can shake your new foundation. No one else has the power to disturb your peace or reorganize your life. This phase is over. The challenges you faced were like strong winds, testing the solidity of a tree. Each adversity revealed deeper roots. Each pain strengthened your trunk to reach new heights. You turned every obstacle into an opportunity, every criticism into a call for self-improvement. And in doing so, you not only survived, but thrived, enriching your life and the lives around you with the sweetness of wisdom and the richness of spirit. When people tried to bring you down with negative words and actions, you chose an unconventional response: resilience. Your ability to absorb the impact and yet transmute these experiences into something valuable is a testament to your divine power and purpose. You have turned bitter into sweet, and instead of giving in to bitterness, you have chosen the path of light and healing. Walking in this light can be challenging and painful, but it is infinitely rewarding. Every step you take is an expression of faith. Every breath, an affirmation of your commitment to spiritual growth. Just like Job, who faced unimaginable challenges and pain, but kept his faith intact, allowing God to shape his character and restore his life twice over. Heartbreak and manipulation caused pain, but instead of withdrawing, you opened your heart even more to God, allowing him to guide every decision. This spiritual path, although invisible to some, provides impenetrable protection, keeping your inner peace safe from external storms. Like a shield, this alliance with the divine protects your essence and resources, creating a cloak of invulnerability around you. You now live in a continuous state of grace, where no external force can disturb your serenity. You have become resilient to the storms that could previously destabilize you. Strengthened in your faith and on your journey of healing and divine protection, you stand out as a beacon of hope and a living example of transformation. Just like clay pots that, under the intense heat of the kiln, become strong and useful, each adversity you have faced has solidified your resolve and polished your wisdom. Others can no longer interpret you, because you are no longer the person you were before, the one who sought external approval. You have rediscovered yourself and reshaped your life in a way that confuses many. They've handed you challenges, and you haven't just survived. You've flourished, turning every obstacle into a feast of learning, and every criticism into an impetus for self-improvement. There will come a day when you feel completely happy and satisfied with who you are and where you are. Some have already reached this state, but the journey doesn't end here. Stay awake and active. Your transformation wasn't superficial. It was a deep and total renewal that eliminated the need for external validation. Just like Paul, who turned prisons and persecution into opportunities to preach the gospel, finding purpose in adversity and leading others to salvation. You now live authentically, validated by your own light and truth, finding a deeper purpose and a self-acceptance that doesn't waver. The process of turning difficulties into opportunities for growth continues to amaze those around you. Not everyone has the courage or ability to transform challenges into something new and valuable. This exceptional strength and resilience is difficult for many to understand, but you follow this path with an elegance that inspires and motivates. This journey is not a point of arrival, but a continuous path of discovery and healing. Finding happiness and contentment with who you are and where you are represents just one significant moment in your spiritual journey. This should not lead to complacency, but rather serve as a stimulus to maintain vigilance and commitment to your personal development. Remain alert and aware, because the process of evolution is incessant. Each new revelation about yourself, each new layer of healing you reach, marks the beginning of another phase in your spiritual journey. To remain awake is to keep exploring, learning, and expanding your understanding of yourself and the universe, which keeps your light intense and prevents you from reverting to your old version, the one that is unhealed and dependent on external validation. Keep going, keep shining, because your trajectory is a testimony to transformation and hope. The attraction still persists, but your emotional detachment now feels like a withdrawal. When you started restricting your generosity and support, they felt it as a loss. They believed that they could have all the advantages without considering their needs. The moment you reduced your presence, your attention, and your resources, they realized the magnitude of the loss. They noticed that they were losing something valuable because you are unique in the way you engage with your family, carry out your work, and love people exactly as they need it. You chose to walk away, respecting their wish not to be disturbed or to maintain the friendship. They thought they could replace you, that your absence wouldn't be noticed. But as soon as you distanced yourself, they felt the impact deeply. Now they can no longer understand you, and this upsets them because the dynamic between you has changed. Even in the face of adversity, you continue to present yourself with your divine essence, beauty and light, transcending pain. This step towards emotional detachment was not a sign of weakness, but a powerful declaration of self-respect and self-esteem. By choosing to distance yourself, you redefine the terms of your relationships, demonstrating that your presence is not a guarantee, but a privilege that must be earned and respected. How many times have you felt misunderstood by those who don't see beyond the conventional? On our journey, it is common to be misunderstood, especially when we walk a path illuminated by a deeper truth. The attraction that others feel for your presence and what you provide remains firm, but now they realize that your availability is not inexhaustible. Your generosity and care, once freely given, when limited, revealed a palpable emptiness for them. This sense of lack, experienced by them, attests to the value you add, not just in routine gestures, but in the emotional and spiritual depth you incorporate into every interaction. You might think that replacing your presence would be simple, but the reality has unfolded differently. The absence of your affection, attention, and energy has revealed an unexpected gap, a space that is not easily filled. Confronted now with your detachment and emotional inaccessibility, they are faced with the harsh reality that they have lost more than they anticipated. The transformation in dynamics is remarkable. You persist in shining, not dampened by adversity, but strengthened by it. Your ability to transcend and continue to radiate your divine essence is a demonstration of bravery and robustness. The light you emanate is not weakened by distance or detachment. On the contrary, it may even shine more brightly now, reflecting the purity of a spirit free from other people's expectations. So, even in adversity, you become a beacon of hope and a model of the true vigor and beauty that can emerge from the most severe trials. You have become enigmatic to those who don't understand the extent of your growth, and this new reality confounds them and impacts them deeply. With every challenge we face, our resilience is tested, but also strengthened. Every step you take, every barrier you overcome, every glimmer of light you bring into the shadows, reaffirms our collective purpose and cements the strength of our community. Remember, you are not alone on this journey. This journey is not just about endurance. It's about flourishing in the face of the indecipherable, the uncertain, and the painful. And as we go on, we become not only refugees of hope for ourselves, but for all those watching, eager to learn how they, too, can emerge transformed and strengthened. On this spiritual journey, their divine union begins to feel like a termination, not because they want it to, but because their negative conduct has destabilized the relationship. To clarify, your sacred connection seems to be heading towards an end, not because you want it to, but because of the impact of their negative attitudes. You, a naturally positive person who thrives on the energy of love and healing, have dedicated yourself to helping others, often to your own detriment. This is a divine lesson. You have given to those who were not ready to receive. Now, what was ordained by God seems to be on pause, or even at an end, because these people refuse to harmonize their lives. They acted negatively, believing that they could manipulate the situation as they always have, without realizing that you are one of the chosen ones, uninterested in worldly games. They thought they could beat you, but you're not even playing the same game. They are competing with each other, facing their own internal battles. Now, as you move forward, grow and heal, They are beginning to realize what they have lost. Your light continues to shine. Your journey is a testament to the power of walking in tune with the divine, even when it means leaving behind connections that once seemed indestructible. The decision to walk away was not born out of a desire to break up, but out of the need to preserve your energy against the vibrational dissonance of the negative attitudes around you. Even if the union was divinely ordained, it cannot thrive in a soil contaminated by negativity and chaos. You have been a beacon of light, a healer, and a benefactor, sacrificing your own needs for the well-being of others. However, God doesn't demand that you lose yourself trying to save others. There is a divine call for you to preserve yourself too. Think of Moses, who led the people of Israel out of Egypt, but also needed moments of solitude and meeting with God on Mount Sinai to recharge his strength and receive divine guidance. This divine wisdom illuminated the importance of removing yourself from situations where your generosity and love are undervalued or exploited. The people around you, trapped in cycles of negativity, have failed to recognize who you are. One of the chosen ones, whose mission transcends earthly games of power and manipulation. Remember Joseph, sold into slavery by his brothers, but who maintained his integrity and faith, later being elevated to a position of power in Egypt to save many during the famine. They have tried to involve you in their destructive strategies, but you are playing a different game. While they struggle in a field of shadows, you dedicate yourself to practices of light and growth. Now, as you continue to move away from this toxicity, they are beginning to understand the extent of their loss. It's not just the physical absence, it's the lack of your energy, your unconditional love, and your ability to transform environments and hearts. Look at the example of Jesus, who often went away from the crowds to pray and renew his spiritual strength. Some of you have discovered true brilliance. This doesn't necessarily imply material gains. When people look at you now, they perceive a glow, even if you don't notice it yourself. There is something powerful about being in this phase of isolation, about surrendering, about moving away. Some of you may be in a hermit mode, focused on your own activities. But when you emerge and interact, your light is undeniably visible. Like John the Baptist, who lived in the desert, but when he spoke, he attracted crowds and prepared the way for the Lord. Stay firm in your faith and mission, knowing that God is by your side, guiding you every step of the way. They caused an imbalance in your union, relationship, friendship, or any other dynamic. Their negative behavior has thrown everything off balance because you were trying to infuse positivity and light. Now it's starting to feel like an end. Maybe you're not sure if it really is an ending. Maybe you don't really know. All you know is that you're surrendering to what God has allowed. And that's all you can do. This surrender to the unknown, to what God has allowed, can be a liberating experience. As you move away from cycles of imbalance and negativity, you discover a new way of being that doesn't depend on external validation or expectations. This process of surrender is not a sign of defeat, but an act of deep faith, a recognition that greater forces are shaping your journey in ways you may not yet fully understand. Uncertainty about whether this is a conclusion or simply a transition is natural. However, what stands out is his ability to remain centered and enlightened during this period of transformation. Isolation and reflection have allowed you to cultivate a serenity and wisdom that are now evident to all who come into contact with you. Your radiance, the fruit of spiritual and emotional growth, becomes a source of inspiration and curiosity for others, showing that it is possible to emerge from turbulent times stronger and more radiant. By welcoming this new phase of your existence, you become a living example of how true growth is often disguised as loss and completion. Think of Job, who suffered great loss, but kept his faith, and was blessed with an even more abundant new beginning. What others may interpret as closure, you can begin to see as the beginning of a new chapter, more in line with your true essence and divine purpose. So, by continuing to surrender and trust in the path that God has prepared for you, you make room for new opportunities and for a continuation of your journey that can be more rewarding and enlightened than anything you've experienced before. For a long time, people didn't want you to be authentic, to know who you really are. Now you are awakening and walking in that truth. They can no longer understand you, interpret you, or keep you stuck in a stagnant energy. It's over. It's finished. Keep walking with courage. Keep being you. Remember David, who, despite adversity, remained true to his true essence and was greatly used by God. Keep walking with courage. Keep being you. Continue on your journey of light and growth, knowing that you are protected and guided by divine love. Like Paul, who despite facing countless adversities and persecutions, never deviated from his mission and purpose, finding strength and courage in his faith. His ability to remain steadfast and dedicated serves as a powerful testimony to everyone around him. At this time of transformation, remember that true strength comes from within. It is in silence and stillness that you will find divine guidance for your next steps. Jesus often withdrew to pray and seek communion with God, strengthening his spirit for the great works that were to come. In the same way, your moments of solitude are essential for renewing your strength and clarity. God has always been and will always be by your side, guiding your every step. When you surrender to the divine flow, you allow miracles to happen in your life. Trust in the process, even when you don't fully understand the path ahead. Remember that every challenge is an opportunity for growth, and every step of faith is a step towards fulfilling the purpose God has for you. Keep shining your light, being a living example of divine love and grace. Your presence is a testimony to the transforming power of faith. Just as light cannot be hidden, your spiritual radiance is a force that lights the way for many. May your life continue to be a beacon of hope and inspiration, showing everyone that, with faith and perseverance, it is possible to emerge stronger and more radiant than ever. Thank you so much for your thanks, likes, comments, shares, and for continuing to be there. I am grateful that you continue to walk with bravery and courage. Thank you so much for being who you are. We nourish each other and our common mission. It's not an individual effort. I'm here on this platform feeding all of you, but I can assure you that, probably even unconsciously, you are also transmitting this to others. If you're still here, you're part of the faithful circle of wisdom seekers. Thanks to your support, I can continue creating videos and sharing enlightening knowledge. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like it, and comment if this video touched your heart. Thank you for being part of this community. I wish you a life full of prosperity. May you receive abundant blessings today.